Hi, good afternoon. I'm here to provide a video, not only to introduce myself, but also my consulting firm that about a year ago won a contract for the county of Sacramento. And I am Yvette Durazo. I'm the founder and principal consulting. And I would like to share with you about what is it that my organization, Unitive Consulting, does. Let me go ahead and get started with the presentation. There you go. I will be looking at this area where my presentation is at. With Unitive Consulting focuses on the importance of human relationships inside the workplace. That is what I do, and in different distinct ways. Not only am I a consultant that comes in and give advice, but I also do hands-on work with the work that I do. Let me share with you a little bit more about what I do. So what is it that I'm going to cover here? Well, I'm going to cover not only introducing myself, but also giving you eye-opening statistics about incivility in the workplace and how does that affect productivity and the toxic workplace culture. I'm going to talk about the philosophy of my consulting firm, the value that I bring, and the step-by-step process of how I do things. Also, what assessments I implement and how can we benefit from partnership, since I'm already part of the consultants that is already vetted inside the county of Sacramento. And then a little bit about my bio. So first and foremost, I believe that conflict in the workplace is normal, and it's something natural. It happens whenever we have more than two people involved at any given point. We always deal with conflict everywhere, right? We deal with conflict every time that we wake up out of our beds and we negotiate with ourselves, and then we have the outer world and where we're interacting in one way or another. And that is what miscommunication can happen at any given point. And then conflict can arise. And what I'm here for is that I'm a specialist in this particular area. Not only am I a consultant, but I also do coaching, mediation. I work in change management, especially helping leaders to lead people through change. And I also develop conflict resolution programs, as well as providing distinct leadership and organizational development programs that I can develop for you. And I also work in the area of diversity, equity, inclusion with a lot of emphasis in inclusion and belonging. Oops, sorry. Statistics. Well, here are some of the statistics that I have been gathering along the way. But CNBC mentioned in one of their statistics that 1 out of 5 employees in the United States have experienced workplace hostility. The MIT, which is a very renowned university, mentions that toxic workplace cultures were the driving forces behind the Great Resignation, and where people are not interested in going back to work in person because they fear what they call politics. They don't want to deal with the politics in the workplace. In reality, what they're meaning is that they either are not getting along with other coworkers, or they don't get along with their own leaders, their supervisors and managers. And that is one of the things that, based on the research they recently did a couple of years ago, is that a lot of people just they don't have interest in working in organizations that they don't feel welcome, that they belong, like they can have camaraderie, people getting along. It is not easy for people to wanting to go back to work. Another statistic that I don't mention here from Better Up Company is that they did research and they learned that by having from 4 to 7 people in the workplace that you get along with, that you can share information, that you can talk to, it helps individuals to feel that they feel inclusive and belonging. And at the end of the day, it helps in their immune system, it helps in their health. It helps for people not to get sick and we wanting to wake up every morning to go and experience and going into that office. Another very useful statistics is from the EEOC office about hostile environment that you can read about here on my slide. They recently also, this year, 2024, they're working more and more with organizations to help them to be more accountable, not only in the sexual harassment, but more in the hostile environment, especially because a lot of issues that are coming into their office for people to mediate. I'm one of their volunteer mediators. It is because there is workplace hostility. And that brings a lot of those cases into the EEOC office. Thank you. Now, SHRM recently, and was in February of this year, 2024, did a civility index study across all the United States, and this is what they discovered. That 66% of workers agree that incivility reduces productivity. When people are not in their best state of mind and they're in a flight and fight or flight or anything that stresses them out, it will significantly reduce their productivity, their focus. Therefore, it also will be taxing in their own health. The more incivility that we have in the workplace, the less people are going to be productive. The less people are being productive and the less people are in environments where they can learn, it creates a lot of toxic environment. 59% of the US workforce agree that incivility causes decline in employees' morale. This is huge, and I've been knowing this for ever since 13 years ago that I started in this field. I did a master's degree in the field of negotiation and conflict resolution. Adding to that as a certificate in HR management and also project management. And, I have developed courses in HR and teaching them diversity, equity, inclusion, and workplace conflict management and mediation. I'm also an instructor in UC Davis, in UC Santa Cruz, and Portland State University. And this is all that I'm teaching day in and day out in these universities. One more eye-opening statistics, they said that 40%, almost 40% of daily acts of incivility occur in the workplace. 54 US workers who witness or experience incivility at the workplace says their co-workers were involved, or it could be the supervisor or the managers. 25% of US workers believe their managers are affected in handling incivility. That means that we're not training our managers or supervisors in dealing with conflict resolution skills and how to lead people through change. The majority of managers and supervisors are not very well trained on that, and that is key skills to have. It is not enough for managers and supervisors that only are able to understand the ins and outs of their departments, of their organizations, but it's also important to know how to grow their people that they're supervising and to be able to create and support a good workplace condition. And a lot of the managers, they just don't know how to deal with it. And eventually it falls into the HR desk. And HR usually also are not trained in any skills in workplace conflict management, mediation, negotiation. Very rarely does an HR professional knows this skill. I'm doing all my best to change that. That's why I developed courses for the HR management certificate program at various universities in order to teach these skills also for HR. Another good statistics that I can mention is that more than half of the US workers believe that our society is uncivil. That's quite a high number. Our philosophy is that, not only do I come in, I'm the principal consultant, and obviously whenever I need other staff, I bring in great staff that I know that are very skilled. What I know about conflict resolution, negotiation. I have been, like I said, I've been teaching this for over 13 years, also doing consulting work in this area. And part of our philosophy is not only just going into an organization and just deliver services, but also be able to understand what are the themes, what are the issues that each piece of the organization is having, and really customize the work that we're doing with your staff in the organization. What are our values? Well, it is important to know that we develop confidentiality processes in order to make sure that people are free to talk about what is it that it is affecting them. A lot of your employees do not trust HR, do not trust employee relations. They go and report things to the union. But again, the unions have a particular work to do. They're not necessary conflict resolution specialists. They don't know how to help employees. They try to support them, but they don't know. Therefore, it is important to bring in people like me that are fully neutral into an organization to be able to give them a space in where they can vent out and where they can perhaps be coached on how to manage the conflict that they're dealing with. Also, and invite the conversation of mediation in the process if other people want to be involved in order to resolve the issues. Like I mentioned before, not only do I do consulting and come and advise, but I also provide trainings that are customized to the needs of the department or the organization. I don't encourage cookie cutter trainings or off the shelf, what they call, because every department has its own subculture within the organization and have certain teams of things that are happening in the department. So based on my research and questioning, then I advise of what trainings I believe that will be hands-on. They will be experiential in order for your staff to really develop the skills and be able to practice that, and obviously create a better ROI for your organization, so that you know that your employees are really taking on the trainings. I also do conflict coaching, executive coaching as well. Conflict coaching is a little bit distinct. People come to me in order to be able to figure out how to manage conflict. Executive coaching or leadership coaching is very distinct as well. It all depends of what is it that the professional would like to gain out of the coaching, the goals and objectives that they want to grow to see in their career, in the way that they manage or work with employees. Mediation, it is a process in where two or several people sit down in order to resolve an issue and come up with viable ways of how is it that they're going to work in collaboration. Restorative processes. These are the ones that I use in diversity, equity, inclusion in order to help facilitate those difficult conversations, because DEI has a lot of difficult conversations that if you're not either trained in facilitating these type of conversations, or you don't bring a facilitator that is trained on these areas, it can affect the way that diversity, equity, inclusion programs are being developed in the organization. And then ombudsperson. A lot of times I get hired as a retainer as an ombudsperson, in where I develop all these functions and also help the organization with up levels of confidentiality to really understand what is going on in the organization with their staff. And where is it that perhaps the toxic environments are coming from, in order to support the organization so that they don't have any legal repercussions with that. So the ombuds involves doing all of that, plus more being able to help the organization in those aspects. The idea here is that, not all conflict is bad. There's good conflict and there's bad conflict. And the idea here is a toxic conflict is what I hope to create a transformational process in where people feel that they have the ability to deal with the issues that they're dealing with in a more humanistic way and finding the solutions by having self-determination, because every single person knows their issues more than a person that will come and mediate. And while you create a space in order to facilitate that type of conversation, individuals become more empowered. They become aware that there's not only the negative way to deal with conflict, but there's this other way that is more humanistic, that is more productive and more good to everyone in the organization. This is just an example of one of the programs that I put together for the Santa Clara Transportation Authorities, and where I also have a contract, a government contract that I won since 2021. In this particular occasion, I feel very proud because I helped them to develop a program for leaders, women leaders that are the drivers of the buses. They had a good number of people, of women, that have been working there for a long time, and they wanted to develop their skills and their abilities. So I helped them to develop an entire program with leadership skills, with restorative practice, talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, negotiation skills, talk about civility, conflict resolution techniques, and the program was a success. And it actually is one of its kind throughout the United States. I'm also working with the security and safety department in order for them to be more cohesive and more productive as they're keeping everybody secure in the community, as well as their IT department. Those are some of the departments that I have been working with just with the County of Santa Clara Transportation Department. Like I mentioned, the steps of mediation one-on-one, it is about whenever there is conflict and people would like to address this in a more humanistic way, I bring the concepts of mediation. Then the one-on-one coaching, the executive, and the conflict resolution coaching, which I already explained on a little bit before. I also bring very useful assessments. The conflict IQ assessment is one of my best used assessments because it gives you an opportunity when you're taking the assessment to really understand what are the behaviors or what are the things that you do that tend to escalate conflict, and what are the things that you might do that de-escalate conflict. And then with that awareness, help you to become a better conflict resolution expert. In your department. I always call it a conflict resolution intelligence based on the book that I wrote. I also use the bank. It's a very fun assessment that I use in order for people to really remember people's values, and in order to work with people and be able to reduce conflict whenever you understand other people's personalities. I do that as well. Well, who benefits out of these type of services? Obviously, everyone. It's CEOs, executives, senior leaders, everybody in your organization. It's a leader, and empowering them by giving these type of skills. It's valuable. It is very important. And obviously, my intent is to bring a good ROI to your organization. by providing experiential experiences to your staff in order for them to be able to use what I'm teaching them right off the door. So that is very important. And I always say, disagreements is only natural. It is necessary. It is important, but it has to be very good, positive disagreements. And that is what I help to train in order to help them to transform negative conflict to a cognitive conflict. And I am also an author, and this is one of the books that I published recently. I self-published this book, and I have been also authoring other articles that you might be able to find by just Googling my name, Yvette Durazo, and also done publications for universities as well. And this is my self-published book, but I have been also in 3 other books. I'm also a chapter author in other books as well. Well, thank you very much. And I look forward to the opportunity to serve each and every single one of your departments. I'm pretty sure that the services that I provide can be of value to your entire county. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.